Good afternoon. Happy summer. It is June the 11th. Yes, 2025. I'm Peter Zalewski. I'm the founder of the Miami Condo Investing Club. You are watching a live broadcast of our June 2025 monthly meeting of the Miami Condo Investing Club. These are meetings that we do on the second Wednesday of every month. We do them from noon till about 1:15 or so. My presentation will go on from 12 noon up until 1 o'clock, and then between 1 o'clock and 1:15, I'll answer any and all of your questions. If you are going to have questions, feel free to enter them into the chat. You'll find it on the right-hand side of your screen. Realistically, I'm not going to look at any messages that are posted on the chat up until, I'd say sometime about 12:50 or so. I'll go ahead and I will point out to you when we're about 12:50. So if there are any questions, you can start to enter them in then. And from 1 to 1:15, I'll answer questions. If I need to go a little bit longer, I will go ahead and go longer for you. We're very respectful of everybody's time. So if any reason you need to leave, during this presentation and or right at 1 o'clock, because we're going to go to 1:15, rest assured a recording of this meeting will be emailed to you. It should be up by Friday at the latest. I might try to actually get it up today, but don't hold me to that, but it will definitely be up on Friday. And because you're a member of the club, I'll go ahead and also send you an email link with the video if you want to watch it. So again, we do these on the second Wednesday of every month from 12 to about 1:15. So here we are in June of, it's the second month of the summer buying season in the Tri-County, South Florida area. Summer buying season goes from May up until October. One of the things that I called since our last monthly meeting back in May is I am predicting a paralysis by analysis summer. Some would call it a wait and see summer. Why is that? It has to do with everything going on internationally as well as nationally, especially related to the tariffs, related to Liberation Day. There were a bunch of tariffs that were all put in place back on April the 2nd. As a result of that, the stock market and the bond markets went crazy, a lot of volatility. President Trump then moved forward and announced a pause to all tariffs. The first set of pauses to the tariffs, and basically every country in the world except China, first set of pauses are come due about July the 9th. So we're looking at a deadline roughly about 3 weeks or so from now when we're going to be talking about tariffs again. You probably will see some volatility. The only country that wasn't part of the original tariff pause was China. Subsequently, since the original announcement of a pause was provided for China as well. The Chinese pause will go through sometime around the middle of August. Today, earlier in the morning, it was announced that the United States delegation, as well as the Chinese delegation, have reached some sort of agreement. What the details are, we're not sure yet. Some details should be coming out probably later today, if not probably by the end of the week. Stock market is up today in anticipation of some sort of arrangement, some sort of agreement that's coming as a result of the supposed Chinese-U.S. type of deal. What the details are going to be, again, nobody sort of knows. So all of this sort of builds towards my case of a summer of paralysis by analysis, in that we're probably going to see a lot of people sitting on the sidelines. I always I like to ask people, are you a bear, meaning you're pessimistic? Are you a bull, meaning you're optimistic? Or are you basically sitting on the sidelines? And I think a lot of people right now are going to be sitting on the sidelines, or probably going to be sitting on the sidelines probably till about Labor Day or so. Follow my logic. The logic is we got all these tariffs that are up in the air. We got the Chinese tariffs that are up in the air. If and when they're all worked out, it's probably going to be sometime in August or so based on the Chinese pause. When you get to August, what typically happens down here in South Florida, because kids go back to school at the tail end of August, a lot of people go out of town. A lot of people take their vacation time that particular month, and a lot of activity basically doesn't get done. So I would anticipate we're still on path and we're still on track for a quiet summer, and you probably will not see a rise in activity until in and around September. So that's the big overall picture. Let me get into some of the details of what we're going to discuss today as part of this paralysis by analysis approach. We're going to hit on a bunch of different topics. One topic is we're going to hit on, we did a ranking of the best and the worst condo markets as of the end of May, cut to the chase. Best market in all of South Florida, we're looking at 23 markets, one of which is South Florida overall. The other 22 are submarkets. Best market overall today is Coconut Grove in Miami. This is based on our Miami Condo Cliff Index, which we launched on January the 1st to coincide with our call a year ago in June of 2024 that we were going to be dealing with a condo association financial cliff in the state of Florida. The worst market is Sunny Isles Beach by far. Again, it has to do with active listings and it has to do with pending sales. So we're going to drill down into some of those different markets. We'll give you some details. We'll sort of walk you through how we're tracking it. And what I should tell you is on the best and the worst, not only are we going to look at the overall condo market, we're also going to look at the vintage condo market. Any of you don't remember, vintage is 30 years or more. These are the condos that are required under the legislation that went into effect after Surfside collapse. Remember when nearly 100 people died and there was $1 billion settlement paid out? Legislation was put in place, kind of make things happen. So instead of calling them milestone condos or anything like that, we're simply calling them vintage condos. Try to give them a nice sounding name, effectively the older type of product. So we will get into the best overall condos. We'll get into the best vintage condos. We're going to get into the worst overall condo market. We'll get into the worst vintage condo market. That's something we're going to be dealing with. The other thing we're going to deal with is the property appraiser for Miami-Dade County, a gentleman called Tomas Regalado. He's a former mayor of Miami. He also was a city commissioner. He's now been elected as a property appraiser. So Mr. Regalado came out a week ago or so. He held a press conference on Monday, the 2nd of June. And at that press conference, he announced the data that was just released by the Miami-Dade County Property Appraiser's Office as of June the 1st of 2025. And what they came out with is basically the overall numbers, estimates as to what property values are throughout the Miami-Dade County region. And during the press conference, Mr. Regalado predicted and called and said he was seeing a downturn in condo markets, several submarkets within Miami-Dade County. And he predicted the next great crisis is what Mr. Regalado was referring to, obviously making reference to what happened during the Great Recession and what we went through in Miami-Dade County. Now, I will tell you, if you're in Broward County or you're in Palm Beach County, keep in mind a lot of condo pricing, a lot of activity. It tends to start in Miami-Dade County and it kind of spreads northward. That's just the way we see it. Like, for instance, if you're going to work out pricing for condos, typically if you want the highest price for Barrier Island type of product, it'll be down there in the South of Fifth area of Miami Beach, right at the southern tip, right where Government Cut is, near Fisher Island, near the Port of Miami. And for density type of units, high density, small, tight units, more investor grade type of product, that's primarily going to come out of Greater Downtown Miami. And from Greater Downtown Miami, it will simply branch out, and everybody's prices, as you go north from there, they tend to go down. There are a few exceptions, but we will get into what Mr. Regalado said. We're also going to talk about how it's pegged to our Miami Condo Cliff Index, which again is active sales as well as, active listings as well as pending sales. You will find from what Mr. Regalado announced, as well as what we announced with the best and worst markets, they tend to be tethered. They tend to be paired. So it's just further reinforcement that what we're looking at seems to be making some progress. Give you a real quick update before I get into some of the other stories. We're getting a lot of media attention lately. I've been appearing in a lot of different places. I'm doing a lot of conversations. We're also, we're quoted in the New York Times. New York Times came out with a big story based on our research as well as that of the Miami Association of Realtors. They did an international study of foreign investors. And, they're warning that any kind of downturn in tourism, as well as this feeling of disrespect that the Canadians have talked about as a result of everything that's happened with this current administration, it could be leading to some real issues with foreign buyers. So we'll talk a little bit about that during this presentation. So let me go ahead and pull up and share my screen. I'm going to show you the agenda. And everybody who's on this call, you were all sent an email. You also sent a link, not only for this meeting, but also for a variety of supplemental charts that are available. I'm going to go ahead and pull it up just so you kind of have it in front of you. I'll hit you with our overall agenda. I'll get into some rules of engagement, and then we're going to go ahead with our presentation. Again, the whole presentation will go till about 1 o'clock, and then at 1 to 1:15, I'll go ahead and answer questions for you. And if you do need to leave, we'll be sending you a copy of the recorded version of this simple presentation. Let me go ahead and pull up my chart just to give you some context. Make sure I got it right here. You know how it always goes. You set something up, and then it tends to be somewhere else. 1 second. Let me pull up this chart for you. Here we go. And it's going to be this. 1 second. We'll show you the agenda. It'll just kind of give you the rules of the road, the rules of engagement for what we'll be talking about. So let me go and hit the agenda for today's presentation. Just about got it up. I thought I had it closer. All right, there we go. So I'm pulling it up right now, and we'll just kind of go over it big picture wise as to what you can expect for me to be discussing. Here we go. You're seeing it. So there's our agenda. It's the introduction, and we're going to go into preferred service providers. Some people join the club because they're DIYers, they're do-it-yourselfers. Because they're do-it-yourselfers, they're trying to go with a loan, they're trying to figure out things. So there are some preferred service providers that we are aware of, we're willing to vouch for. And if you are a DIYer, or maybe you're just a regular club member, maybe you're somebody in the real estate industry or whatever, these are all groups as well as individuals we would recommend. We're going to get into our tours. We've relaunched our tours, something we started back in 2014. We're now bringing them back. We did our first tour. It was a part of Greater Downtown Miami, an area known as Edgewater, Midtown, as well as Wynwood. We got another tour coming up this Saturday, so I'll go into some details about that. We're going to talk about some of the new podcasts we're rolling out. We're rolling out podcasts that are trying to give you some insights besides my insight. Some people that we have respect for, and maybe they have differing opinions. And the idea is to give you as much information as you want to consume, but quality information, not necessarily somebody who's trying to hoodwink you or sell you something that doesn't make sense. We'll get into key financial indicators. That's something I launched a few meetings ago. We'll give you the latest updates on that. We'll get into the summer paralysis by analysis. We'll give you an update on the Florida condo law. I'll talk about a shocking revelation of a building in Clearwater over in the Tampa area that had gone through its milestone inspection, had begun doing the work, and lo and behold, they got hit with a big problem, and everybody had to be evacuated from the condo. We'll talk about changes going on in the pre-construction condo market. We'll then get into the cliff, give you an update as to where we stand today. I pulled the numbers yesterday. I pull them every Tuesday, tell you what's going on as of June the 10th. Then we'll show you the worst and the best and the worst. We'll get into Mr. Regalado and some of his estimates that came out. We'll get into the conclusion, and then finally, I will get into your Q&A portion of it. Let me go ahead and stick with what I got going on with our meeting. Let me skip from the agenda, and we're going to go to our preferred vendors just to kind of roll it out to you. If you are concerned with zooming or me scrolling, it's probably a good time to kind of close your eyes. Okay, here we go. Let's start off. Well, anybody looking for title, you're looking for escrow, you're looking for anybody like that to be that third party in a real estate transaction you might be doing. We'd recommend Clarita Rosa. She's got a company called Candor Title and Closing. She works hand in hand with her son, Jonathan Rosa. You always see them at our meetup events. So if you don't know them, and if you are looking for a title company, or maybe you're shopping around for title companies, I would encourage you to check out Clarita Rosa, Jonathan Rosa, Candor Title and Closing. Next, permits, entitlements, zoning. Maybe you did some work, you got caught, you didn't pull a permit, you got one of those notorious red tags. Any and everything related to planning, zoning, entitlements, we would encourage you to check out Christine Carey. She's got a company called Miami 21 Zoning and Entitlements. So she is somebody we would recommend if you find yourself in a situation where maybe you want to sell a piece of dirt and you want to try to get the highest and best price. Maybe it's not necessarily the property you own that's standing today. The real value might be in knocking it down and going vertical. This is something Aunt Christine Carey can probably help you out, as well as those notorious red tags. Scrolling down, contractors. Finding a contractor can be challenging. Finding one that actually shows up, or one that doesn't run off with your cash, that actually does a good job. We'd recommend Andres Alvarez. He's got a company called 3A Quality Services, Construction and Remodeling. So, think about Andres if you're shopping around for a quote related to contractors. Then we get to Jose Suarez. Jose is somebody I worked with for quite some time. He's got a company called Global Inventory Liquidators. What they do is they buy out businesses that are closing or maybe changing supply, if you will. You know how the seasons change. You go from winter to summer. All of a sudden, people are wearing different things, or they're eating different things, or maybe they need furniture for out by the pool. Jose is entity. What they do is they go in, they buy the remaining inventory, typically at significant discounts, and then they will turn around, put a spread on it, and resell it on an individual basis. So he's buying in bulk. He's then reselling one-off. So Jose and anybody else I've mentioned or will mention, I'd encourage you when you reach out to them, if you do reach out to them, just drop the fact that you're a member of the Miami Condo Investing Club, and they should treat you like family. Maybe some of you are doing work. You're doing improvements. You're looking for tile. You're looking for granite. You're looking for anything related to flooring. You're looking for anything related to countertops. We would encourage you to check out Stephen Mussolino over at Casalinda Tile and Marble. Their company's been up and operational since 1970. And again, somebody I've known quite some time. They import their own product. They provide it. They tend to be very competitive. Again, Steve Mussolino, Casalinda. And then finally, if you are looking for financing, Grant Stern, he is a mortgage broker. He deals with conventional type of financing, i.e. a regular bank, as well as private financing, where individuals or family offices or anybody that's not FDIC insured is simply looking to lend money. Grant's the gentleman who can basically broker a deal for you for financing. So maybe you find yourself in a situation you need to get short-term financing, you need to get your hands on something relatively quickly, it's got a lot of hair and warts on it, and you need somebody to kind of help you navigate some of these challenges and overcome them. Grant would be someone to consider. That's Grant Stern, Morningside Mortgage Corporation. So let me go ahead and continue down just so we can bang out some of this stuff really quick. Close your eyes if you are worried about me scrolling. Let's get into our next monthly meeting. Remember, second Wednesday of every month, we do it from 12 to 1:15. So July the 9th, we'll be doing our next monthly meeting. Continuing downward, meetups. Meetups are a situation, most of the stuff that we do with you is going to be virtual. It's going to be something that, you can do online. You can do it at your own convenience, kind of click on demand. But we do give you an opportunity to get together and talk shop, to trade war stories, to hand out business cards, pitch your services, whatever the case may be. We've made a real effort over the course of the last year to try to rotate where we do these monthly meetings. They typically go from 5:30 to 8 or so is what we claim. However, these meetings tend to go on until about 10 o'clock, 10:30 is what I'm finding. But basically 5:30 to 8, most people show up between 6:30 and 7. We go to a bar, we go to a restaurant, we all hang out, we talk shop. People are all interested in condos, and it tends to be a real enriching type of situation because you're able to meet new people and you're also able to hear some of the latest trends. So our next meetup is going to be on Tuesday. We always do it on the third Tuesday of the month. So remember, monthly meeting is on the second Wednesday. The meetup where you get to socialize in person, that's on the third Tuesday of the month. Why do we do it on Tuesdays? Why don't we stick with Wednesdays? The reason we do it on Tuesdays is Tuesdays are notoriously a dead day, a dead night, and therefore when we go to a bar or anything like that, we're able to, we're not going to get overwhelmed with too many people, as well as the music being too loud and all of that. So this Tuesday, the 17th of June, we're going to be doing it in Coral Gables. We're going to be doing it at the Anthony's Coal-Fired Pizza. We originally were going to do it where we've done our previous ones in and around this Coral Gables area, a place called Brightside. The problem is the Florida Panthers. Well, not the problem. Maybe the situation is Florida Panthers hockey team are in the championship series called the Stanley Cup. And because of that, the bar that we would have gone to normally called Brightside, they get slammed for hockey. Everybody goes there. There's a reservations only. So we're gonna pivot and we're gonna do it at Anthony's Coal-Fired Pizza. It's in Coral Gables. It'll be on Ponce. It'll be just south of Miracle Mile or Coral Way, whatever you want to call it, as well as just north of Bird Road. If anybody kind of knows where the Ponce Circle is, there's a Fogo de Chao. It's also the place where the group that owns Jose Cuervo Tequila, they built the plaza. So this Anthony's is located basically right in between Miracle Mile and Ponce Circle. So I'd encourage everybody to come out, check it out. There's no charge, there's no agenda, there's nothing like that. Basically, people get together, they talk shop. There's a cash bar, there's also happy hours. And I know the place, so I can tell you we're going to have plenty of room. We'll be able to navigate, do what we want. We could be inside, we could be outside, depending on how the weather's going to be. So I'd encourage you to check it out if you're down here in the South Dade area. And then next month, we're going to be doing it on the 15th, and we'll be doing it in downtown Miami. So that's something to keep in mind. And we will rotate. So depending on where you're located, you're going to have a shot to go someplace close. And we would encourage you to sort of share the pain and just kind of travel to get to know club members. And continuing on, private lunches. This is something we are doing or we're doing. We're not going to be doing it over the summer. It's basically an opportunity to bring in keynote speakers for a small group of people. So we're not going to be doing that. And then continuing on, just trying to get rid of some of our businesses here, the business, the things we have coming up. Here's a real quick glimpse of Anthony's Coal-Fired Pizza. Remember, that's the meetup. That's where you get together. No set agenda, discounted drinks, discounted food. You're able to talk shop. That's going to be Tuesday. You can see the address there. You'll also be receiving an email. Now, let me get into the tours. So what I started doing with my partner, Jenny Huertas, back in 2013, the end of 2013, if you can imagine it, we started doing tours. We took people on buses. We drove them around. We showed pre-construction at the time. The market changed. Then we started doing correction tours. Then we did new construction tours. Now we're back to the correction tours because the market changing and doing what it does. So over the course of the summer, we'll be rolling out a whole series of tours, probably every 2 weeks or so. in which we are going to take a look at a different market. How does a tour work? Basically, it's 3 hours. We wander around. We take stops along the way. We walk. We go at a moderate pace. We have rest stops. I give you a list of every single condo in that particular area. I give you insight. I give you history. I also teach you how to analyze some of these buildings based on the charts that are in front of you. I like to say when you're searching for a condo, focus on the building first. And once you find a building that meets your fundamentals, because remember, there's so many out there. Once you find a building that meets your fundamentals, then you focus on a unit. So our next tour will be this Saturday. It's going from 10 to 1:30 or so, Brickell Avenue area. Because you're a club member, if you decide to attend, you can go to miamicondoclub.eventbrite.com. Put in a promo code CLUB15, CLUB15. That'll give you a $15 discount off of the tickets. Tickets are retail $65, but as a club member, you get in for $50. So you're going to get a $15 discount or so, somewhere in the ballpark of 20-ish%. And then the next tour we have planned, remember, we got 4th of July coming sometime after that. Next tour we're going to do is going to be the downtown Miami. That'll be the central business district. That's going to be from the river, Miami River, up to the MacArthur Causeway. A lot going on there. That's where the Miami World Center is, stuff like that. So that'll be the one to watch for. I just wanted to give you a heads up related to that. And then finally, before I start to get into my presentation, we're doing podcasts now. So every Monday, we're doing something called the Miami Condo Mondays. I do it with my partner, Jenny Huertas. She's been in the real estate industry quite some time, north of 20 years. She was also a lender before that. So every Monday at 4 o'clock, we're doing them live. We're sharing them on Substack for the time being. With time, we'll be putting up a paywall around that. But basically, she's able to give you in the trench sort of read on what's going on in the market. And I'm kind of giving you the macro perspective. And also, too, I'm doing a podcast on Fridays. It's called Buy, Sell, Hold Miami. I do with a gentleman called Daniel Hernandez. He works over at Compass Real Estate. He's a former oil commodities trader. He's in real estate. He tends to deal with more, I'd say like kind of the, houses and more like super luxury type of stuff. So he's a good person to talk because we can talk shop almost as if you were a trader. So let me go ahead and stop the screen sharing so you can get a glimpse of my beautiful face. There we go. So that's a big picture, kind of what's going on with the club. We're rolling out podcasts. We're doing our tours. We're putting together all of the information. The media and the community starting to really recognize what we're doing. And I want you to know, as a club member, I'm obviously sharing with you everything that we're finding, everything that we're kind of seeing before it kind of gets spread elsewhere. A lot of times people will say, until it's in writing, I'm not necessarily going to read it or I'm not going to believe it. Once it's in writing, then they put a lot of confidence in it. So I'm here to tell you that we're sharing stuff with you before it's being spread and dispersed throughout the overall community. So, that's one of the advantages of sort of being a club member. And I also hope too that you're seeing we're trying to build a community for everybody who's related to condos. Many people tend to avoid condos. I think this could really be where the opportunities are in the overall South Florida real estate market right now, simply because of all the issues we are going to be dealing with. So let's go ahead and get into our presentation. First thing on the presentation I want to do is I want to get into our key economic indicators. Again, I'm going to share a screen because I want you to see it. If you want to play at home, you were sent a link in the email where you could basically see all of these same things. So let me go ahead and share my screen.